Okay, this is the talk through of the bees and respiration, how science works question. Let's get into it. Scientists measured the rate of aerobic respiration in bees at different environmental temperatures. They measured the rate of oxygen consumption in individual bees using the apparatus shown in the diagram. So here's the apparatus. We've got a chamber here with the air in it and the bee. It goes up to a three-way tap here which can vent to the atmosphere or the plunger or be closed, and then it goes along this capillary tubing where there's a drop of liquid. At the bottom of the container there's a substance which absorbs CO2. So first question. The scientists left the tube in the water bath until it reached the required temperature. Then they closed the tap. The drop of coloured liquid started to move steadily. Which way did the liquid move? Explain your answer. So, we put it in the water bath. I'm guessing there was some thermal expansion. That's why they wanted this open. The extra air came out, then they closed it. At that point, it's all sealed. What's happening? Well, the bee's doing aerobic respiration. It's using up oxygen, but producing CO2 in equal measures. However, the CO2 produced is being absorbed, so therefore the volume is going to decrease in this chamber because we're using oxygen and the CO2 produced is being absorbed. So the volume decreases, so the pressure decreases, so the coloured drop is going to move to the left. So the answer is to the left because oxygen is being consumed and the equal volume of CO2 which is produced is absorbed. Therefore, there's a lower pressure inside the container. What measurements would the scientists need to make to compare the rate of oxygen consumption of different bees? So we run this thing with one bee, we then run it with a different bee, and we want to measure the oxygen consumption. So we need to know how much oxygen was used per gram of bee tissue, because the bees could be different sizes. So, measurements. We need to know the distance moved along the capillary tubing of the bubble. We need to know the distance moved. We need to know the diameter of the internal bore. So the diameter or the internal diameter of the tube, and we need to know the time taken, and we need to know the mass of the bee. So, distance moved by drop, internal diameter of tube, time taken, and mass of animal. What's the syringe used for? Well, simply you can move this up and push the syringe down and it will push the drop back again. So, to move the drop to the right to allow for further experiments. Now we get into it. At low temperatures, some bees respire at a much higher rate than others. The body temperature of these bees is much higher than their surroundings. It's also higher than the body temperature of other bees. These bees are described as endothermic bees, and the diagram shows the body structure of a bee. At low temperature, endothermic bees vibrate their wings rapidly. By vibrating their wings, the bees produce heat. Suggest how. There's a clue here, it says suggest, which means have a go, make it up. What about the fact that if there's lots of muscle contraction going on, there's going to be lots of ATP used, so lots of respiration which will be producing heat. Bees live in colonies consisting of a large number of worker bees and a single queen bee. The worker bees are all offspring of the queen bee. Worker bees are unable to reproduce. In winter, a colony comes together in a cluster. The queen is at the centre of the cluster. Endothermic bees are also found near to the centre of the cluster. Use the information given. Suggest how endothermy evolved in bees. Okay. So, for a bee to be endothermic, there must have been some mutation that happened. So that mutation, because only the queen is reproducing, that mutation must have happened in a queen. And when a mutation happened in a queen, and the mutation caused the formation of an allele which caused bees to be endothermic, to generate heat. That allele caused bees to be endothermic, and those bees produce heat, so that queen was more likely to survive and breed and pass on her alleles to the next generation. So there would be a mutation in a queen leading to the formation of the allele for endothermy. Colonies with endothermy or endothermic. Colonies with endothermic bees would be more likely to survive through winters. Therefore, queens in endothermic colonies